everybody and welcome on today's video. Today I'm going to try to rearrange this strange thing that you see here. It's a whole bunch of field maples that I was trying to grow in a pot that I made with sandstones. There's a video on this pot. And yeah, I'm doing this because, well, all the buds are swelling on these field maples. It's half February now, so it's a little early to start repot, but there will be no frost at night in the coming 2 weeks, as they say. So that looks okay. So 2 weeks from now we'll be in March, and then in Belgium it's starting to become quite okay. Now, I have a few trees here on a rock. This one, well, there's a rock here, we'll have a look at it. Here the rock, well, it's obvious. We have here a few trees that I have in my little pot that are straight, but I don't know if I can use them in the composition here because they're straight. They don't have this rock feature, they don't have a slanting shape, so I don't think that I'm going to use them. And then I have this one here, which is already growing, but I think I need to reposition it. And then I have these two trees that I planted in a pot. My idea was maybe to sell them because I have way too much trees, but maybe if I have a spare room, maybe I can use them in that this one as well. So, well, let's see. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is clean up this pot a little bit, and then we'll get the trees out of the pot, try to arrange them because, well, there's only 2 trees that I think will do nicely, and then these 2, which will make 5, which is a good number. I don't think that these 2 are on a rock, but no problem. I have a whole lot of rocks, and, well, let's have a look. First things first, I'm going to get this tree out of the pot. Now, as you see, it's already starting to bud out. So I have some moss here that is not doing really well, but it doesn't matter. Even dead moss I keep because I use it in for air layers. It's not been growing like crazy because I well, have some roots, so I'm just going to open this up a little, not too much. There's no need to disturb all these roots. Just like to have the roots and the trunk along the rock here. It's very sandy. I remember that I used a very sandy mix. It worked, well, quite okay, but okay, so that's one. I don't think the raffia is going to keep up a long time, but that's okay. It has to disappear eventually. So that's one. I have a few pieces of moss here. I'm just going to tilt this stuff, get most of this soil out, like so. But not all of it. There's very, very good soil still. So I'll probably use a whole lot of that as my base layer. Like so, and I'm just gonna put this whole thing on top of it. Well, That's an improvised turntable. Okay, so I first have to have a look at what I want to do. So this is one of the smaller trees, so it can be in the back, and then we have this one here, which came as a surprise. I didn't remember this tree last year, and then I found it in a pot and thought, well, how did I not see this one? And I planted that one on a rock. I'm just getting rid of the moss, because when you do a rock planting in the first years, it's always a good idea to use some moss. Here we have a little weed in the moss. We don't want weeds in the moss. Now I need to get this out. I think it's going to be rather easy. Oh, well, might be a little more complicated than I think, but I'll get it out. Okay, here it is. Well, that's a good root mat. So let's clean this up and have a look at what the roots have been doing. Again, very wet, not ideal, but okay. I think I'll clean these roots and especially the roots around the rocks. Well, I'm only going to remove this muddy soil, which is really not good, partially, or I'll have to put it in my tub, which is probably a better idea. So let's do that. Well, that was a good idea. Now you can see the roots, and the rock is, well, firmly holding, no, the roots are firmly holding the rock, I should say. I'm not going to change anything there. So this is a nice front, but the original front is also nice, so that's kind of cool. Not sure what I'm going to choose as a front, and because this tree is leaning, it might change a whole lot in the perspective. I also cleaned this one up, so that's nice. Then we have this guy here. Also going to get him out of the pot. That's the same sandy mix. And I know someone who has a lot of pot cleaning to do, like my friend Xavier said. Didn't look too happy when he was cleaning all his pots, but it has to be done. So here again, maybe a little washing might be a good thing. So I'll do that, but I'll maybe get the two other ones out of the pot first, so that I don't have to unmic every time. So I was thinking this one somewhere here, how it was, this one here in the center, or maybe this way, I don't know. Can go both directions. Okay, so let's have a look at that one. Can I use this? It's certainly not root bound, but it's not in a on a rock. But it's maybe a nice idea to find a rock. So I have a couple of interesting little rocks here. I'd like to have all these trees in this planting on the rocks, because I think it's kind of fun to have all these trees on sandstones. Well, that's the first rock that I took, and it's not bad at all. Probably could lose this thick root here and then put all the other roots around. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Maybe a little bigger rock. Let me have a look. Or two rocks, that's always a possibility also. Well, this is even better. Yeah, a lot of people that are doing root on rocks projects. It's not easy to find a good match between the roots and the rocks, and that's why you need a whole lot of rocks before you even start this whole operation. I think I kind of like that one. Yeah, I'm gonna put that one here. All right, don't fall over. Yeah. Well, that's okay. And then we have the big one here, which is really a fun tree, but probably also not really root bound. Man, this is a very messy setup today. I don't like that. So not a whole lot of big roots here, but long roots. And an interesting tree, I must say. Been working on that one for a couple of years, and maybe this rock will do fine. So it sits here, and I could drape. That's not bad. I could drape this around here, like so. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one. So I need some raffia to get all these roots tight against the rock, and then I'll plant the whole thing, and then we will see how we can protect these roots for a couple of months, maybe a whole year, probably just by putting moss around it. And that will make the whole root base stronger. And well, okay, so let's get some raffia, and I also need to wash this root ball here. Okay, so I cleaned up a whole lot of the mess here. Didn't really clean out this pot. Well, no use. I mean, this is full of nice little bacteria. As you see, this pot is quite shallow. That's because I made, well, the base of the cement is really too big, but okay, what can you do? So, I cleaned up all these little pieces of sand and dust and all that stuff that was around the trees here. And now I'm going to wrap the roots as nicely as I can around these rocks. So I tied this one with a natural raffia, and well, here the natural raffia is gone, but since this is a part that is coming out of the ground, I don't need to use natural raffia. I can use synthetic, which is, well, not especially better, but stronger, won't rot. And the reason I can use this here is, well, I can cut it off without disturbing the roots, which I cannot do in this portion because, well, there's too much stuff under the ground there. So little knots, and that's good, like so. Clean this up a little, and this one will probably come here, I think, probably in the back. This one I also cleaned the roots, and the roots are looking nice here. I did not expect that, so I don't know. The best roots are, yeah, well, that's not bad too. I don't know. So this one is clinging very nicely. I don't have to apply any more raffia. So I was thinking somewhere here, or if I turn it, but then I lose the whole trunk. So I think that's the best thing here. I don't know if this is on camera. I hope. Yep. So okay, and then this one could go here, which was the plan from the beginning. But then we have these two new ones here that I'm going to try to put on a rock. So that might be a little more complicated. So let me grab my raffia. But I think it will work. And like I said, it's always nice to have different rocks. It's always a little tricky, but that's gonna work just fine. So loop, put it around. Yeah. Like so. And this will be the first anchor point. And once that is done, it's just a question of getting everything nice and tight around it. But of course this will only work if your roots are compatible with the rock. So I'm very lucky to have a good rock. And this is always looking terrible the first time, but it doesn't matter as long as your roots are tightly to the rock. Okay, that'll work. Yeah, I don't know where, but somewhere. And then we have the last one. And my raffia fell and is now completely wet. Here again, very lucky to find a rock that fits this tree. Incredible. Alright, don't you fall while I prepare my raffia string. Okay, so now comes the crazy part. I need to make this look like a reasonable composition. So, what do I want? Well, like in most group plantings, it's always nice to have the thickest tree in the front and then the smallest in the back. So obviously these two here are the smallest, and this is the tallest but not the thickest. Well, it's competing with this one. Now I also want to take in consideration the movement of the trees. So here we have a tree leaning that way, here we have a tree leaning that way. So this one is more in the leaning that way. And then this one, which is as high as the other one, is more leaning this way. Still the tallest, thickest. Well, depends on what you are looking at. This one is a really nice base. So maybe I should put this one here and this one here. But then I have a huge hole in the back. Now the thing is, you can tilt this way or this way, and then maybe somewhere here would be nice. That's then the most upright tree. Come on, man, help me out. Well, something like that. And then this one here, close to this one, maybe just this one a little more to the side here. What do you think? I think that's not bad. Okay, so I'm going to take some substrate. I'm going to do this. I think it looks good. So, little substrate. Try to tuck all the roots in. And then of course, because I don't have, well, because these rocks are not standing flat, need to support them by adding a little bit of substrate under it. And of course I need to keep the roots under control. And that's already a better move. This one is standing. I like to lean it a little more forwards, like so. Maybe just this way. This way looks nice. That's nice movement. Okay, so I'm going to add a little more soil. That should do the trick. Then this one needs a base layer. That looks okay. Cover it up. I think they can come a little higher, all of them, but one thing at a time. So in the back here, this one, base layer, put the tree on top. You can always reposition this slightly, and then some substrate for this one. Oh boy. Come on, guy. Don't move. Yeah. Little more in the back, maybe. Yeah. Now, you know, there are rules, guidelines, call them whatever you want. And one of these rules is that you don't want 3 trees in a row. And of course it's not always possible, especially when you are dealing with forest with lots of trees. But in this case, I must say, it would be a little bit stupid not to have, well, to have 3 trees in a row. So okay, that's good. The spacing is nice. The spacing is completely different in the different trees, so I like that. So here, still no 3 in a row. All right, yell if you see 3 in a row. I don't see it. I don't see it. Still don't see it. Think I'm good. Okay. This is good. I think this one can come a little higher up. And now I'm just going to fill everything up with substrate. This one is in a nice position, but it can come a little more forward, and I need a base layer here. Well, I don't know about you, but I think this looks really fun, really nice. Yeah, I really like it. Okay, so let me fill this up with substrate, just tucking all the roots in. I think it looks good. I really like it. I'm rather amazed, I must say. Now, of course, there's way too much substrate here, so I'm going to flatten this, and we'll probably remove some of this substrate. And therefore I'm using a little paintbrush. Now I have this fancy cocoa, I don't know, brush, which is very good also, but this one's thinner and it's easier to maneuver between the trees here. And I want to remove some of the substrate around the roots so that I can see these roots, and then I can cover these roots with moss. And maybe this year already, or next year, I don't know, I'll probably be able to remove some more substrate and reveal more of the roots, because that's what I want. Well, that's why you do root over rock. But I always think it's easy to make a to put too much substrate and then remove it than to be confronted with not enough. And I always push down the last pieces of substrate with my brush. Now, by putting moss around the roots, you are providing a good environment for these roots, so they won't die off, they will thicken, they will grow better. So this whole thing needs tidying up. And here comes the rain again, falling on my head like a memory. Great song, Eurythmics, 80s. I'm not 100% happy with the one here in the back. Well, I'm happy with the tree, I'm happy with its position, but I'm not happy with the height. So I think I'm going to try to lift him a little, like so, and then put some substrate under it, and then fill it up this side. But I feel that if I don't do that, I'm not going to see the rock. Let me have a look now. Yeah, now the rock is a little more visible. Well, of course, it's full of substrate still. Maybe I can do a little more, like so. Here is the rock, okay. Add some substrate here and work that in. Well, that's better. Of course, there's substrate on the rock. We cannot do much about that. But that's good because, well, some roots might emerge and start to grow that way. So what I need to do now is have a look at the places where the roots are exposed. This one is going to be okay. It's grabbing the rock already. So I'm going to take some pieces of moss and put it, for instance, on this tree. I'll try to come closer with the camera. Now you have a more of a bird's eye view, I think it's called. Well, you see here are no roots, so there's really no need to put some moss there. But I'm just going to put some little pieces of moss on top of that. And it's just the moss that came out of this planting. So there's all kinds of pieces of what is this, pumice something? Here again we have a few weaker roots that I might want to protect a little more, like so. So here these are big roots. I don't think they are in danger, but maybe just protect the edges. Oh boy, it moves. Yeah, this planting needs to grow first. Okay, so here the same couple of pieces of moss. Here we have some exposed roots, which is not great, but moss will help keep them moist. And it's not that we are in full summer now, so here again, little bit of moss. It hides some parts of this raffia, which is of course not beautiful but essential in this stage. Okay. So glad this winter is almost over here. For all the people living more up north. Yeah. Hope you are not running out of good faith and hope, but I'm glad that I don't live at the North Pole. Yeah, okay. So I said that this one, well, I'm going to expose it. Just the small roots here, tuck them in. Like so. Yeah, well, it is nice. I really like it. Didn't expect it to be that nice. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to tidy up now. I would like to have a little rock here, just to, yeah. Let me see. Too big? I don't know. Too big? No, it's perfect. Okay, let's put it here, and then put some substrate around it. And then a little piece of moss. Right here. Okay. So I'm gonna clean up, remove all the stuff that is everywhere and isn't supposed to be there, and then we'll have a final look. Oh yeah, I'm gonna water this also. So I watered the plant, I cleaned up, and I did everything I could to make this as clean as possible, but of course in the coming weeks there will be a little more tweaking and adjusting and stuff like that. You know how it goes, because if you're like me and you cannot keep your hands from your plants and always inspecting, that is something, if there's something that you can do to improve it, well, I must say I'm very happy. So a few of these trees are wired. I have to keep an eye on that. But yeah, this one is definitely growing. Here I see some buds swelling, so that's probably a good sign. Here also good signs. This one, well, there's a few green spots, but not a lot. And here definitely some green spots, so that's really good. So I'll give you a quick 360. And again, if you see 3 trees in a row, just yell. So this is the back. Could use some green here, but I'll probably get some. I mean, these are field maples. They grow like crazy. So that's it. So as you see on my screen, the sun is out, but sadly not on the place where I'm working. Well, there's a reason for that. I chose this spot because when it's too hot in the summer here I get some shade. But yeah, in spring it would be nice to have another spot. But okay, what you gonna do? You cannot have anything. And I'm really happy with how this turned out today. So maybe I put a little piece of wire here. I don't know. I think that this thing looks really nice. I hope you think the same. Anyway, thank you for watching and see you next time.